finding domain and range from the graph of an exponential function. The graph of an exponential function is shown in the figure below. The horizontal asymptote is shown as a dashed line. Find the range and the domain. So when they talk about that asymptote, that's this line right here. That although the function gets really, really close to that line as it goes this way, it will never actually cross or touch this line. It's kind of an invisible wall. So this line gets closer and closer and closer to it, but actually never touches it, even though I know it's hard to tell on some graphs. Now we need to find the range and the domain. We know that the range is the y values and the domain is the x values. So let's talk about this range first. This here is our y-axis, so we're going to look at the ranges of y on the y-axis that are possible for this function drawn here. Because we know that this is an invisible wall, this line is never going to touch it. So it's never going to cross it or go below it, which means this point right here at 1 is never ever going to have a y value and nothing below 1. So I'm going to have, it could be all the way up to 1 but not including 1. So I'm going to have y could be greater than 1 as we see this arrow going up. Any of these numbers above 1, y could be going all the way down almost to 1 but not including 1. So our range is going to be y is greater than, because it's above the line, but not equal to 1. Okay, and that demonstrates that the y values can be anything above 1 and all the way coming down up into 1 but never actually touching it. So now let's think about this domain, which is our x values. Okay, our x values go this way because this is our x-axis, so we're thinking about the values going this way across my graph. Here I see this nice little arrow indicating that this line is going to go forever and ever onwards this way, which means I can keep going in the negative direction forever. So I'm going to go from negative infinity, and then I'm going to go this way and see how far we go to the right. We're going to start moving to the right, and although my y picks up here, this arrow keeps going, and although it's getting steeper and steeper, we could technically keep drawing this line until it accounted for every single possible x value. So because this is continuing onward, even though it's steep, all the x values to the right will also be possible if we go forever and ever. So our domain here is not restricted because we go all the way negative and all the way positive. So that's when we're going to click on this button that says all real numbers. That's the case for the domain because we can go as far as we want negative and we can go as far as we want positive, even though it will take a long time because of how steep that line is. So our domain is all reals because we're not restricted to the right and the left, and our range is greater than 1 because we're restricted by that asymptote at 1.